Hey witches, if you are enjoying Waking Up the Witch, then you're definitely going to want to check out my magical shop, Moonbee's Wellness in Medford, Oregon. We have a curated collection of crystals, incense, sage, witchy books, tarot, oracle, and so much magic made locally here in the Rogue Valley. Whether you're just beginning your witchy path or you've been on this journey for quite a while, we have so many items to support where you are in your journey. And we ship anywhere in the US, so no need to be local. But Moonbees is more than just a shop. We are also a sacred space and supportive to your healing journey. I'm a Reiki master, and I also offer a lot of intuitive sessions, including past life readings and past life regression sessions. And all of this can be done virtually online, so I can help you no matter where you're at. Come visit us in Southern Oregon or follow Moonbees Wellness on Instagram and Moonbees_Medford on TikTok. And remember, magic's this way.
This episode of Waking Up the Witch is brought to you by Taylor Pickett Styles. I'm Taylor Pickett, and I am an intuitive hairstylist in Southern Oregon. I offer in-person services as well as online tutorials on how to care for your curly hair, how to properly shampoo your hair. If you're a hairstylist, I offer lots of education and one-on-one consulting on how to build your clientele and take care of your clients. If you're interested in any of these services, please reach out to me. There will be a link in the bio. I also offer organic hair care from Innocence Organic Beauty, and you can also buy that online through me, link in the bio, and also on my Instagram page, Taylor Pickett Styles. I also have a TikTok page if you're into just talking a little bit more deeply about things, going into deeper dives about hair care, self-love, and self-worth. My TikTok handle is Southern Oregon Curl. And don't forget, tame nothing, nourish everything. Enjoy this episode. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Amber.
And this is
Waking Up the Witch. We're your neighborhood witches. Each week, we talk about all things witchy and connect with other humans in a storytelling format about navigating life on this floating rock.
We're two curious ladies trying to understand the human experience. But while we do that, we think it's important to honor the people that lived here before us and honor the cultures and traditions that we're being inspired by.
This podcast is about waking up the witch, which means we are learning and growing every day. That being said, we are always open to feedback on how we can do better.
The views and opinions of our guests don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Waking Up the Witch. Now, let's go, ghouls. All right.
I love the cold open and when you're playing our theme song in your mind.
Well, that was not our theme song.
Oh.
That was a circus.
Oh. Well, welcome to the circus.
Yeah, seriously. Of America.
Hi, Taylor. Of America. Fucking for real.
Whoa. Hey, girl.
Hi.
What's up?
Oh my God. I'm just like fucking so fired up right now, I feel.
Will you remind me to put deodorant on in a minute?
Yeah, I got some in the thingy.
I have some too.
Okay.
Just a situation.
Getting real.
So before we talk about our guest, I just want to, for a quick second, talk about our reader night, which was so cute and so fun and so exciting and very like chill. Like, I mean, the energy was like cool and fun, but it was like very low stress.
Yeah, we really needed that. And I just like it went off without a hitch. I like wasn't stressed out about anything.
Not before, not during. No.
So I like that, just being able to
It's
like
like
weave in something.
Yeah, come as you are, but dress cute.
Yeah.
Come as you are, but look good when you do it. I love when people leave our events. They're like, that was fucking amazing. I had the best time ever. Everything was so good.
It's so funny because, like, I think the only thing I stress out about ever is just, like, how's it all gonna land, like, day of? Like, are the people gonna fit? Are the people gonna show up?
Yeah, that
And,
was really
like,
the
it
only thing.
fucking always works out exactly the way it's supposed to.
Mm.
And it was so fun because, like, some of our vendors from previous events got to come and, like, play, which I think is something that people are always kinda craving, like, afterwards, like, "Oh, that was so cool that you did that thing, and I wish that I could have, like, gone to
Experienced
go
it,
and
yeah.
be a part of it too in a fun way." So, yeah, I really love that we got to do that, and
I just wasn't charging people for readings. I'm like, "Hey, come
so
over. You want
fun.
a
Heck yeah.
reading? I'll do it for free. I don't care."
I love it. It was fun. I definitely, like, got to chat and catch up with people and was just, like, kinda fluid of, like, "Okay, I'm gonna go sit and see if
Yeah, it
anybody, like,
felt
wants
like
anything."
a cocktail hour socialize
Uh-huh.
also, which was just really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
loved
then we
it.
got to have Dr. Alexis there this time, which was really cool. Do you wanna share anything about your channeled messages from Simon with
I
her?
don't feel super, like I don't know about it yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm
I'm
excited to hear more.
open. I'm open, but it's just, like, not any information that I didn't know or that she couldn't just tell me to make me wanna believe it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just, like, the first thing that they said was, like, "It's very important that you start your spiritual journey with your daughter, like, now,
Cute.
and that you need to be, like, meditating to connect
Oh,
with her
yeah.
basically, like, telepathically," and she's like, "Well, are you guys communicating, like, without words?" And I'm like, "Well, I know what she needs at all points in
Right.
time, like, intuitively," and she's like, "That's not what I mean." And so, I do wanna be doing that, and then I asked about, like, is all the things that I see in my mind and, like, deeply feel like are gonna happen, like, is that what's actually gonna happen in this lifetime? And they were like, "Yes, but it's very important that your husband does his thing to make it all happen. Like,
Oh,
it's you can't do it by yourself. He's
yeah.
gotta get his
Plug in.
career going to make it, like, all happen."
I love that.
Which I'm like, "Fucking yes, he does."
Yes.
And then I was like, "How's my marriage?" And she was like, "Really strong, but you need to communicate. Just because you see everything with your mind and your heart doesn't mean other people do. And so you have
Mhm.
to communicate with your mouth so that he knows where you're at." And I was like, "Well, I just choose peace over confrontation." She's like, "Communication doesn't have to be confrontation." And I'm like, "You don't know my husband." So I was like, "Okay, yeah." And then, I asked, like, if we had all of our lifetimes together, like, Goldie and I, and she said most, like,
Mhm.
a lot. And then I was like, "What about, like, my mom, Goldie, and I?" And they said
Wow.
7-ish. Like, 1 wasn't completed,
Mm.
and I didn't really ask, like, in what way.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I really remember. It all felt validating.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Am I delusional?" And they're like, "You have to be to, like, break
Love
the
that.
matrix and get the things that, like, you see in your mind that like, and delusion's just a concept, of, like, this society,
Yeah.
but, like, visualizing these things and knowing that they belong to you in this timeline, sure, if that's delusion, like, yeah."
I love that.
It was good,
Yeah.
but also, like, shoulda just, like, validated everything I was saying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't, like, deeply profound
Yeah.
in any way, but
Yeah.
I would do it again, and I would be I mean, I had, like, 5 glasses of wine too, so
Oh, yeah.
I would be down to do it, like,
I
a
have
different time.
her scheduled for another, group session here for March 14th.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that's gonna be really
I'll
great. I'm
definitely send my
excited.
mom. I need to
Um
chat with my mom a little bit more. She wants to listen to the recording
Oh,
together.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she was
So
just, like,
cool.
crying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is probably just, like,
Hers was
spot
profound.
on
Yeah.
and, like, what she needed, and she was really seeking, like, something very specific that night too.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously she came here to kinda, like, heal and grow, but I feel like she's being, like, catapulted into it,
Yeah.
and so I'm just like, "Okay, just, like,
Yeah.
take care of yourself because, like, this is a lot all at once," and,
Yeah.
like, the last few days, we've been doing a lot of work and, like,
Yeah.
talking and
Yeah.
exploring emotions. Like, on Saturday, we spent all day together. We went to, like, 2 wineries, and she just talked for, like, 6 hours straight.
Wow.
And it wasn't like she wasn't, like, annoying, like, it was, like, all these things that
Mm.
you don't know stuff about your childhood and
Right.
because they're trying to protect you, and then she's, like, telling me all these things I never knew about, like, her life and my family, and we talked and we cried, and there was just, like, a lot,
Mm.
and that's healing in
Healing.
itself
Yeah.
too, so I'm excited to see
It's,
where
like, next level having her here this round. She's been
yeah.
here, like, a month.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
kinda
like, it's a
crazy.
lot, but
Yeah.
I don't think it will always be a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's just, like,
It's just
some
the moment.
adjusting and things.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I'll help her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, that's
excited to
important.
do
The
body
body
code
code
with
will,
her.
I think, help her body. So, okay,
Yeah.
something that's really, really fucked up is all the things that are wrong with her body and the surgeries she's had are the things Tommy was having before he died. And
Wow.
she has taken on all of those physical
Yeah.
ailments.
Yeah.
So, I think body code
Body
is
code would
exactly
be
what she needs.
amazing. Yeah.
Like, the reason he started taking my mom's, ex-husband that died through suicide, the reason he was taking Chantix was because he was getting ready for his neck surgery,
Mm.
and then the first thing she had to have was a spinal fusion.
Ugh,
Like, it's just the same body parts.
that's so wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And so I told her, like, "Yeah, you need to do body code
Yeah.
with Amber."
Tell her to text me.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll put it on the calendar and we'll make it happen.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Alright.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh. Oh, yeah. I'm great.
Okay, good. Love
Yeah, I'm way better than I think the last time I recorded. I was like, I don't know, not great.
Yeah,
And yeah, things have really eased up and are like being back in flow, being back in the shop, being back in all of our projects and businesses. It's like I'm so fucking grateful for this life and like
same.
where I am right now and all the things I get to do. And like this podcast is so inspiring, like all the people we get to talk
The
to, the
connections that we make,
connections
I
that we're
think, are
making.
huge.
I know last week you were like in tears of like, we have just like reached this other level of this phase of this, business. And, um, it's
It truly feels
so
that way.
soul healing. Like it's not just a business for us. Like it's so meaningful, the conversations we get to have, and it's like it's changing me in such a
Same,
beautiful way. So yeah, I feel like just so inspired every time. Like this really gives me fucking life, and that is
same.
amazing. Moonbees is blowing my fucking mind this month. Like I thought the last 6 months were fucking good, and girl, it is halfway through the month, and I'm
Oh,
already where my big like like, we're killing it this month. It's
wow.
fucking crazy. I mean, we've launched speaking of schools, we've launched our witch school. Again, this is our second year teaching intuitive psychic development, and so we start that on Saturday. And last year we had 4 students, and I think we have 8
Holy
students
crap.
right now. We were gonna try to do, like, 6 in person and 6 online, and I think we just weren't as good at advertising that we were also doing hybrid, and so we, like, maxed out in 2 days. We sold out for in person, so we're like, "Okay, we still want 12 students, so how about if you wanna be online or if you wanna be in person, like, we can house that." And so then after we announced that, we had 2 more signups, like, immediately. I have someone else, like, waiting for a reply in my DMs right now. It's
Pardon me.
It's just really cool. So, like, that's a big part of, the abundance this month too, of course, but it's like, it's more than that also, and I'm just like, "Okay, show me how good it can get." Like, I was struggling last year for a while of just like, am I supposed to keep doing this? And then I finally was like, I'm supposed to keep doing this. And ever since then, and like putting in the work and being given the time to put in the work, it's all showing up. And
Everything feels so big right now
it feels so
and
big.
abundant and like a ball rolling and like
Yeah.
collecting things and getting bigger.
Yeah, and it's everything. It's every single piece. Like
Mhm.
all the things I have my hands in that I'm a part of creating, everything is big right now.
Mhm.
And that is a really cool feeling.
And it's just
Um
the beginning
and
of
it's just
all of
the
it.
beginning, and it's just so wild. Like going back home for Christmas was hard, and like, lots of beautiful things with that too, but that like it just getting back here, I'm like, this is my home, at least right now. Like, this is my home. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, that's such like an old part of me. And I think like part of why it got like so intense at the end is like I cannot pretend to be anything else but who I am right now, which is such a crazy feeling because
Mhm.
and I mention it in this episode with our guests, like not it wasn't too long ago where, like, I was kind of trapped that there was no more space for me to expand and grow, which is crazy because I lived in a fucking city and moved to a small, small city. But I have just fucking expanded
Mhm.
personally in so many ways. So, yeah,
Well, and
I just
that's
have
another thing I feel like right now is like if I want all the things that I envision, I know it's in Ashland and like
right,
here. Like I'm not gonna do these other things, other places. And for
right.
so long, I'm like, where do I belong? What am I supposed to do?
You
And now I
belong.
know,
Yeah.
like, I just needed to move 15 minutes south and I will feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and like what we're doing is so important. It's like bigger than us, and it's a part of like creating this connectivity within our community, which like community and collective energy is like so fucking needed now more than ever. Like I know you and I've talked a lot about like getting out of that being this individual like mindset and
The
like
village.
yeah, like we're really bringing that together, and it's so needed here where we are, and that like we're doing it together and separately for our own little communities. It's huge, and it's going to be a part of what's helping to heal like the greater collective.
And like
In our
what
small collective and our bigger collective with the podcast and like other people, the more that we are all stepping into that village energy.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be what we're doing. It could be
Yep.
doing laundry for your fucking neighbor,
1000%.
bringing them food if they need
Yeah.
it, like figuring out how you can help
What
others
can
with
you
the
do?
resources you have that they don't have and showing up
Exactly.
even when it's uncomfortable
Yep.
and knowing that not everything is comfortable and
Yeah.
sunshine and rainbows and sometimes you have to put yourself in awkward positions
Yeah.
for the betterment of the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one day you're going to need that help too. And so I think creating that village, then people are going to know when you need help and are going to be
Mhm.
able to provide their resources when you need it too. Like it's all just this, we got to take care of each other.
Yeah. Well, this interview was exactly what we needed, and we're glad that another
Oh,
woman with political rage
yes.
and advocacy found us because we love to say, fuck ICE, fuck Trump, fuck his little minions,
Fuck
fuck
fascism.
fascism globally
Yeah.
and oppression
Ugh.
and fuckers.
There's so many fucking amazing nuggets in this conversation. I'm so excited for you all to listen. This
Yeah,
is
we could have just kept yapping, but we have to record another
I
episode,
know,
so
I get to go talk to someone else amazing now.
but I also feel like we will at some point be recycling guests because
Oh, yeah,
everyone we interview is like
there's more.
growing so much and like working on themselves so much that whoever they are today is not who they will be later.
Yeah,
And so it'll always be a new
yeah,
conversation.
and that's already true for a lot of the people we've talked to
It's
that
true
we
for
keep up
us.
with. It's like we all are transforming, so we hope that you enjoy this episode.
If you can, like, leave us a review,
Yes.
comment anywhere you can. Make sure to go follow us on Patreon, even if it's just for free. There's lots of good stuff over there. We know we tell you every time.
Patreon.com/wakingupthewitch.
Yeah.
Get in on the chat. Talk with us. Be a part of this.
The community that we're talking about. Bitches.
Yeah.
Witches.
Let's do it, witches.
Okay. Friends. Okay, we have to go.
Bye.
Enjoy. If you can, I would ask everyone to close their eyes and take 3 grounding breaths with us. We'll start now. 1 big deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and release. And this one's going to be the biggest breath you've taken today. Fill up your tummy as much as possible. Big breath in. And make a noise when you release it. Let it all out. Let out all the tension of the week and all the bullshit going on. Take this time to forget about all of the chaos and everything else going on and just really anchor yourself here in this moment and be present for this next hour to hour and a half. We would like to call in our guides, our ancestors, our angels, and our higher selves. We would like to ask that anything that's meant to come through, it will come through today for the highest good. And we are so grateful for our guest to be here today. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's good.
Hello. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Maritza, and I am a witch from Chile, and I now live in Oakland, California. And I'm here today because I want to find all the witches.
Yeah.
So I just pinged these ladies, and I was like, let's be friends. And they're like, come on up. And I'm like, okay, let's see where we can go with this.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for finding us. We're happy to find you.
Yes.
Well, we love to start from the very beginning. So we would love to hear about your childhood and what it was like growing up in Chile and how you've kind of come into your witchiness and how you ended up where you are today and everything that you're doing.
You might regret asking. Make yourselves
Never,
comfortable.
ever,
Never.
ever.
And how much time do we have? No, I know how much time.
I know it's really hard to be like, oh, let me tell my life story in an
Yeah.
hour because that's like not really possible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, that's plenty of time. I can tell it to you in less time than that. But let's start at the beginning.
Yes, let's.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Chile a long time ago. 2 years into a really brutal, unpleasant dictatorship. And so I grew up during the time that was going on in Chile. So that was playing in the background of everything that was going on, right? And so
Wow.
regardless of where people stood politically, it's really hard to ignore when you live in an oppressive regime
Yep.
that nobody chose because those people came to power through a coup. And even the
Chills.
people that are supportive of that can't ignore that that's like, tainting everything in the experience. So that was what was going on in the backdrop.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Sounds familiar.
Personally, I was born and raised into a family of witches. And so I
Amazing.
became a witch when I was born.
Chills.
And it's a very interesting thing being a witch because, as you probably know, being a witch is amazing. It's like, I'm so grateful I get to be a witch in this lifetime. It's just fabulous. And also profoundly misunderstood.
Yes.
Really deeply sort of vilified.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise, right? When you tell people that you're, I don't know, any other thing, well, there's some things that are looked weirdly upon, but brujeria is a particular taste of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say in Chile, certainly, and in all of Latin America, there is a lot more openness around wisdom that is not easily codified, and
Mm-hmm.
intuition and experience with unseen forces, definitely more than in the US. So, although Chile is a majority Catholic country, as is the rest of Latin America, it's not as much of a shock for people, or they don't get as weirded out
Yeah.
by meeting somebody that has a particular spiritual practice that maybe they don't, or they're not super familiar with. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah, well, yes, and it is nice. It's
Yeah.
100% awesome compared to here, but it's
Yeah.
still like a weird thing depending. It's a very contradictory thing, right? Like and I'll get into this later. I believe that paradox is one of life's organizing principles. And so the
Mm.
paradox in Chile and in Latin America is that most people are deeply Catholic. They totally believe in the entire thing, and in witches, and in energy healing,
Yeah.
and in weird ways of being that are not necessarily accepted or endorsed by the church, if you will, and both can be
Mhm.
true at the same time. That's like
Mm-hmm.
totally the case. So in my case, my mom is an MD. The lady is nuts. She's got three specialties.
Love it.
She's a cardiologist and a lung specialist and a pediatrician.
Oh,
I know. And she's 78 years old, and she
wow.
still works full time because
Wow.
she's mental and also a witch.
Love
But the
it.
reason I share that, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant what my mom does for a living, other than it's super interesting because most people that don't know anything really about witchcraft find it really confronting or confusing that my mom's a witch with an MD with like three specialties. They're like, but like that's so science based. And I'm like, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, it is. What's your point? Like these are not
Exactly.
two mutually exclusive things, right? And in
Exactly.
fact, it only makes sense that somebody whose tradition is a particular kind of energy work and a particular kind of healing would
Yeah.
choose to also become an expert on the currently mainstream ways of doing that. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, it's 100% complementary.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
So there's that. But the reason I'm mentioning that too is because, again, back to this paradox thing. So like my mom, since I can remember, her nickname was and still is bruja, which is the Spanish word
Mm-hmm.
for witch.
Mm-hmm.
And her friends call her bruja. But many people don't fully like clock that it's not just like a cute little thing that they're saying, right? Like there's
Yeah.
many in the community know she's like a proper witch, and know that and respect that. And some folks all of a sudden they're like, oh wait, you mean bruja, bruja, bruja? And it's like, yeah, exactly. Not just like the cute little name, right? And she's careful because again, she's an MD, like
Yeah.
Does she
not
live in
everybody.
America and the
No,
United
she lives in
States?
Chile. Well,
Okay.
that's no. She lives in Santiago de Chile, where I grew up.
Okay.
And so it's not like here. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how she would do that here, but there it's still a little bit. And so we're definitely careful about who we disclose and when about our
Mm-hmm.
practices, because people are very judgy and sometimes very mean.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me, it's super important to be open. Well, because I'm
Yep.
a teacher as well, right, of this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to own it in the same way that any kind of way that we choose to live as humans, as long as it's harming none, in my opinion, should not be shamed or
Yeah.
ostracized or marginalized, right? And so I think that owning it proudly and the visibility around it is really important. And also, I'm not done. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need
Oh,
to take care of myself.
the chills are just like continuously flowing because that resonates so much with me, and it's kind of strange that I had so much fear around being seen that way not too long ago, like 8, 9 years ago. And now, like, I have a metaphysical shop here in our small little, like, more conservative leaning town. And, like, especially in this climate, it's like we are on the verge of another witch hunt, but it's like this is more important now than ever to be loud and share who I am and what I believe, because we also need to normalize it and we need to show people that this isn't something to be feared. And my rules are always like, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and be kind to the earth. Like, and if you're doing those things, then you can't do witchcraft wrong. There's no wrong way to do it if you're doing it with that integrity.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I will say this though, because as you can imagine, I've thought about this a lot. And I also have had, like a real hard time thinking about, do I tell you I'm a witch? In what
Right,
context? You actually need to know, like all of the
right.
things, right? But I think that one of the reasons witches are so feared is because when people in general, but women in particular,
Mhm,
own their full power,
mhm.
know how to work through fear, and really connect with the power of transformation and creation that resides within us all and know how to wield it,
Yep.
the entire neoliberal capitalist heteronormative patriarchal white supremacy system would fucking collapse.
Exactly.
And so of course that's terrifying, but I just want to always remind us, that's scary to whom? Like, are
Not
witches a
me.
threat? Yeah, we're a fucking huge threat. We're a threat
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
system. Like
That's
everything.
why the system exists, and it has been to shut down our power as women, as healers, as creators.
Correct. Right. There's like 5 white boys that are hoarding all of the resources.
Yeah.
And if all
100%.
of the witches were like awake and connected, that thing would crumble. And they fucking know it, because
Yep.
otherwise, why is it so scary? And the same is true of like working class people organizing. And the same is true of Black and brown people like building power together.
Yeah.
It's anyway, I
Yes.
digress.
Yeah. No, we're with you 2000%. All of it.
Anyway, so that's why my mom is kind of careful about
Mhm.
where she lets folks know that she's a witch, but really not really, because her she goes by bruja. I mean, it's kind of mental.
I wish
And
my
so
doctor
I
was
was
a
gonna
witch.
say if I knew my doctor was a witch, I would trust them more because I'm like, oh, like you can heal me more than
Yeah.
one ways.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Love that.
that's funny.
I would love to
Anyways,
hear about what it was like growing up as like a little baby witch and the ways that like ritual played a big part in your family and like what you remember about that.
yeah, totally. It's interesting too, because sometimes when I share this story, we have a really romanticized view of like
Mhm.
what it would be like. I was having a conversation with some other witches, and they're like, "Well, that must have been amazing." And I'm like, "Okay, so if you're picturing me like on my grandma's lap around the fire, I hate to tell you, I grew up on the 14th floor of like a
Mhm.
megapolis." And so it's not all that you might be imagining. But what was cool, I mean, a lot of my initiation and learnings were through my grandma, like my mom's mom.
Mm.
And so it was not a formal thing, and it wasn't a linear thing, right? Like I saw friends in the Catholic Church, and they receive some ritual, and then they learn whatever, and then there's like another ritual, and then they're supposed to like fulfill this themes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know all that much about it, but our tradition is way more sort of organic and non-linear. So it wasn't like, okay, now I'm going to teach you about this. It wasn't like
Yeah.
that at all. It was more like we live a particular way. And quite
Mhm.
frankly, I didn't really understand how much of a witch I really was until
Mhm.
I moved to the US when I was 18.
Mm,
Because to
mhm.
me, it's kind of like asking the fish, like, describe the water. Is it
Yeah.
wet?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? Like, I don't understand." And then I got here, and so many things that I considered, like, of course, completely uneventful, like, totally not worthy of anything, and just people were like, "Wait, what?" And so it was like,
Yeah.
right? And so the contrast, sort of the realization that this might be different or it might be special,
Uh-huh.
came up not because I was told so growing up, but it came up because I was in a different context. And so the
Mm.
contrast was there. Because again, if I'm thinking about my grandmother and our relationship and how I learned from her, it was rarely sort of like a formal moment where
Yeah.
like this wisdom is going to get passed on. Like it's not
Right.
like that. It's like we're living our lives, right? And so she would super casually talk about the healing powers of water and what that
Mm.
means and like how to use it. Or and I mean you got to realize this is like in the 80s in Chile, and she would be like, know about things like yoga and tai chi and acupuncture, because one other thing that's super interesting is that, at least from my tradition, witchcraft is not really a religion, although it has very, of course, it's a spiritual practice,
Mhm.
but it's also quite open. And so when
Mhm.
Mm.
things were coming into the country that nobody was familiar with, and there was some sort of healing or spiritual association with them, the witches were the first ones to be like, oh, hey, what's this? Like, let's check it out, and like not be
Mhm.
scared and have an open mind about it. So that's like a huge thing, in a way that through my grandmother, I learned that spirituality is experiential, right?
Mhm.
Did she ever articulate those words? No. Like,
Right.
I've come to articulate those words to teach folks here that otherwise couldn't get it. But when I saw her trying different things over time, and when she was like, oh, it's like, oh, my belly hurts. Oh, we're going to make this kind of tea. Or like, oh, I have
Mhm.
a headache. Oh, we're going to like put your hands on, we're going to do like some hand energy works, like all of those things. There
Mhm.
was no explanation behind it, in the same way that if today you're like in a friend's house and you're like, "Oh, I have a headache," and they're like, "Oh, do you want an aspirin or a Tylenol?"
Right.
Right.
Nobody will be like, "I'm gonna give you this pill that has this that will relieve your headache." You know what I mean? Because it would be
And you're like,
freaking weird and
magic.
stupid. But I think that people, because they're not familiar with it, expect like I had like that kind of explanations around the
Right.
magic. And it's like, it just goes without saying, like, this is how
Yeah.
nature works, right? Because that's one thing
Mhm.
about brujas and my spirituality, is that is 100% based on nature, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by nature is not only our physical environment, the earth, like, yeah,
Mhm.
the trees and the rivers and all that. We learn a lot from that, and we're in relationship with that, of course, and
Mhm.
completely dependent, interdependent on our ecosystem for our own lives. But also the nature of reality, right? Like,
Right.
of human reality. Like, how
Right.
do we be in relationship to each other? How do we respond to one another? Like, we're really good at having more clarity than most in terms of what the hell is actually going on here?
You're talking about how this is so like natural. It's just how you were raised. It's part of the culture of your home and your family. But as you're talking, like what I love, like a big part of what I do is helping people connect to their own inner magic and just like
Yeah,
witnessing them and being like, do you
yeah,
understand that this is magic that you have within you? Because here growing up, we've been taught to be afraid of it and, hide from it, or we're making it up. And really snuffing it out. And
yeah,
I just think it's so beautiful, like to people listening, to keep that in mind. Like our gifts, our magic, sometimes we don't even notice it because it is just so natural and normal to us. And we think everybody has this, everybody does this, right? But like that's not true. And even like, your home was filled with that and it is very normal and natural for you. Just to remind people to like think about what is something that is just so innate for them, because there is magic in that. It may not be this whole romanticized version of
Mhm.
witchcraft and of magic. Like it really is like you're already walking around with that magic and you're just not seeing it for what it is because you think it's so basic and normal and that everyone else also experiences it. And that's just not true.
What I keep thinking too is like it's just like ancestral. It's the way we were supposed to be living before
Also.
colonization and all of
Mhm.
these different things. Like it that's what Native Americans were doing here, and that's what people have been doing all over the world before a bunch of white dudes came and said, "No, you're a Christian now or you're Catholic now,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing."
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think that a bunch of white dudes just went and colonized a bunch of places and now we all think or have been taught to think
That's
one
normal.
specific kind of way. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
like the power of that is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're breaking it down now. It's happening.
Well, and that's like the most insidious spell ever cast, right? I mean, I talk
Yeah.
about
Wow.
magic
Girl.
like in terms of like, I love the word in English for it because it's like you're spelling it out. It's like you're speaking
Mm,
reality into being, right? And so
right.
we had these dudes
Mm.
that came over with this crazy ass story about some virgin that had a baby and then the baby died and like whatever, whatever. And so we're going to take all your shit. We're going to steal
Ah,
all the gold
yeah.
with all the women
All
and
the
own all the
resources.
land.
Yep.
What? And somehow
How did
the
we
world
get
went
here?
like, okay. I mean, mind you, nobody went, oh, okay, here, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
all the native people put up like the freaking fight of their
Yeah.
lifetime
Yeah.
Yeah.
and are still doing so. But
Absolutely.
somehow it became the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
I
What?
know.
And
It's
then like I'm
so
the weird
wild.
one.
Right.
I wanted to say
Right.
something about the comment you made a minute ago because I think it's so, so, so important. This idea that like your own gift to the world, you're probably blind to because
Exactly.
it's so innate to you,
Yeah.
right? And so I
100%.
think that I love calling that magic. I think that's beautiful. But I also think that even if you don't want to own your own magic, think about it as your virtues or your skills or your natural
Mm,
talents. Like I have
mhm.
friends who are Virgos. I'm looking around my space, right? Who come over and they're like, why does it look like there was a storm blowing through here? And I'm like, because this is how I live. And then what they do is unspeakable to me. They don't even use a ruler, but it looks like they put everything the same distance up. It's like, it's crazy making. And I'm in awe of it. I'm like, man, I wish I could
Same.
keep my space like that. It's so beautiful. And
Cracking
I'm
me up.
literally incapable. I'm smart, I'm functional, but that's just not my gig.
Same.
And this is the most annoying part. Every time they're like, oh my God, it's so easy. It takes 3 minutes. Let me just do it for you. Beep, 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 and it's done. And I think that's such a great metaphor for like anything, right? Like to
Right.
me, what comes easy to me is like, come on, it's not a big deal. Just do it. But if it's not your gig, you're going to be struggling. And
Yeah.
that's the point of interdependence, right? Like we don't all have to be great at everything. We just need to help each other out with the things
Yeah.
that come easier to us because
Mm,
why not? Because to me it's not a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I would
Anyway,
love
so
to
I
know what your sun, moon, and rising signs are.
take a wild guess. No.
Are you an Aquarius?
Scorpio something.
I want to take the Aquarius as a compliment. No, I'm Aries.
Yeah, I didn't feel that.
No, I just yeah, I mean, you are a firecracker,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
And then,
Amazing.
do you know your moon and your rising?
Yes, Leo moon and Virgo
Oh,
rising. Even though I'm a
okay.
Virgo rising, it doesn't manifest in ways that
Yeah.
are useful,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I could see the Leo energy for sure. I love
Same.
that. I'm also
That
a
makes
Virgo
sense now
rising.
that
Mine
that's
does manifest a little bit like that, but I'm also a Libra sun, so I think it's like that balance and precision
Yeah,
mixed with the
totally.
Virgo rising that I can do that. I do have that gift.
That's great.
And it's frustrating when other people don't. So thank you for the words that you said because it softens me. I needed that.
It's not on purpose. Like
Yeah,
I'm not being messy
I
at
know.
you.
I know.
It's like it's just incapable of otherwise.
I adore that.
Anyway, but I digress. What were we just talking about?
just having like different skills that are your magic, and then
Oh, right.
um kind of where we left
Yeah.
off in your childhood was saying it was just really
Oh, yeah.
normal. I would
Oh,
love
that's right.
to hear kind of like what brought you to the United States also.
Yeah, that's right. I was telling you my life story. Okay, so yeah, so like my mom, my grandmother, how I learned about this, and then what happened was, growing up in Chile was super not fun for me. Like, and it's really interesting because like, I have tons. I mean, tons of friends still in Chile, and I'm really close to them to this day. And there's like literally millions of people who were either perfectly happy or managed to be okay enough for this to not be a problem. But I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. I want to kill
Mhm.
myself. This is unbearable. And it
Mhm.
was unbearable for a bunch of different reasons. But the number one reason is that I just did not belong at all. I did not fit in anywhere.
Mhm.
And so, because of how Chile is culturally, where I the socioeconomic context where I came from, usually kids finish high school and then they go to university. And when you're going to uni, you live with your parents. And I'm like, I adore my mom and we get along really well today. But at that time, I'm like another 6 years in this house and in
Oh
this,
my gosh.
it wasn't so much the house as much as like everything around us, right? Because I think
Right.
that my mom just knew that I was like outspoken and loud and leftist.
Yes.
And that was literally a dangerous way of being, right?
Mhm.
And so she was just trying to keep me safe. And I was feeling super constrained. And the one thing that was incredibly lucky and helpful is that I always did really good in school and got really good grades. And I performed really well in all these standardized tests, which was very confusing to everybody because I was literally throwing myself out of windows in class. I'm like, I can't be here. This is so boring. I'm like, "Oh, let me escape." Like I was a discipline challenge, if you will.
You were
Same.
But
being caged. You needed freedom.
100%.
Also,
That's the
sometimes when you are smart, it's all fucking boring. So
Yeah.
you're just like, oh my God, I already know this. Who cares?
Mhm.
That's how I felt. I was always like a disruption, but it was like I had straight A's and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
totally. That was totally my case. And so what happened was, this is really interesting. So when I was 13 years old, I had an opportunity to come to the US to summer school. It was
Oh.
like this, the fuck was it called? Center for Talented Youth Summer Program of the Johns Hopkins University.
Okay.
Wow.
Very fancy. And I was able to come for 3 weeks with with a small group of other people, like 5 or 6 other people, most of whom are my closest friends to this day. Like I was just in Chile in October and I saw them and their wives and like we were hanging and it was amazing. Anyway, but we came to this thing when I was like in ninth grade for 3 weeks to learn, I don't know what, math, calculus, something. And what happened was the school where I went to school when I was little, from the first grade all the way through high school, is the same school, right? Like you went to the same freaking
Mhm.
school the entire time. And this particular school was a walled off city block, like
Oh,
literally
wow.
walled off. It's really
Crazy.
funny because this came up the other day with my partner. I was telling him because like I want to be in my next life, I want to be like really fit and athletic, and I'm just not. Like I work out a lot and I try to take care of myself, but like I don't love it. And so back then, I'm a teenager, and you literally can't leave the school, and there's these walls, and I'm like, I would like steal a chair from the classroom, drag it all the way to like the edge of the wall, step on the chair because I wasn't like fit enough to just climb the wall. But I'm like, but I'm smart. I'll just bring a chair. And I will step on the chair and jump the wall and get
Escape.
the hell out of there, right?
Oh my God.
Anyway, so when we came to this thing, it was at this college in Pennsylvania, and I'm walking around campus, and then it looked very different. And there's like, I don't know, a CVS or a McDonald's or something like that. And I'm like, where am I? And I was in the town that the college was in. And I'm like, wait, what? And where's the entrance to the college? Like it wasn't walled off. Like you can walk.
Oh,
And I swear to God, that blew my fucking
wow.
mind. I was
Wow.
like, I'm moving here like a
Amazing.
lunatic. And I'm 13 years old and I'm like, I'm moving here. So then what happened was my entire high school career, I spent working with the US Chilean Institute of Cultural Exchange or some institution. And I was like, how high do I need to jump to go study in the US? And they're like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, no, we don't do that. Like you go get a degree and then you can do grad school in the US. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna be dead by then. I don't have that
Oh,
kind of time. Like
yeah.
we need to do this now. So I
Wow.
hustled and hustled and hustled and made it happen. And when I was 18, I came to the US to go to college, or at least that was like
Wow.
the excuse on paper.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I came and oh my God, I ended up in upstate New York in a little town called Ithaca.
I know Ithaca.
Mhm.
And I'm coming from Santiago. And like the first time I got to Ithaca, I flew into Ithaca. And I remember the plane is is descending, right? And I'm looking out the window and it's summer. So it's a jungle. Everything is
Yeah.
green and gorgeous, but there's nothing there. And like the person sitting next to me is like, oh, we're in Ithaca. And I'm like, where? There. And they point to the jungle. And I'm like, my life, like, what have I done? Because again, Santiago is like I don't know, at the time, 5, 6 million people, something like that. Like I'm from a big city, right?
Wow.
So that was kind of horrifying. But I made it work, and I actually ended up staying in Ithaca for 10 years until I came out to California, and I've been here since with a 5, 6 year break in Australia, but that's how I ended up here. Well,
Amazing. Wow,
What
what
did
a
you
journey.
study?
I studied film photography and visual arts because I wanted to be a documentary maker. And I did that for a while. And then I knew I'm a nerd. I always knew I was going to end up going to grad school because, like, I love studying. And then I ended up going to grad school for communications. And so I found this guy, Heidi Tram, who was what is it called? Like the advisee of this really famous scholar on public opinion. And so I always joke that I conned Cornell University on giving me a master's degree on spellcasting because this is what I studied, right? Like
Amazing.
I wanted to make movies because I feel like, again, the stories we tell ourselves
Yeah.
are
Yes.
what create our reality, right? And like I want to have a part of that. And I was more interested in nonfiction than fiction. That's near here nor there.
Mhm.
But when I was growing up, I was super obsessed with a couple of stories. One of them was The Emperor's New Clothes. I don't know if
Amazing.
you're familiar with that tale, but it's
Yep.
basically like everybody is denying their own eyes and
Mm,
creating a reality that is fake in actual observable reality, but real because we all agree is real.
chills.
And that's just how reality works. And it always cracks me up because I don't know that this is funny, but I find it kind of dark humor funny. At the end of the story, there's this little child that's like, oh, the king is naked. And everybody's like, and the story ends there, right? And I'm like, yeah, what they don't tell you is that that kid was probably thrown in the river, right? Because I
Mhm.
always felt so identified with that kid. And I'm like,
Mhm.
how can you all like,
Calling out the obvious.
it's
Yeah, that
so
no one else
obvious.
sees. Uh-huh.
Exactly. That's been my gift, my blessing, and my
Chills.
curse my whole life. So that's
But
how
we need that. It's more than ever, we need
oh my
that.
God, more than ever.
Like, so many chills.
Don't get me started. I'll get there in a minute. Anyway, so I was super
Yes,
obsessed
good.
with that story. And then because I grew up a little bit feral, I read 1984 by George
Mm,
Orwell when I was 9 years old. Do not recommend. I was deeply traumatized, but it
Same.
transformed my life because it read like a Bible to me. I swear to God. I'm like,
mhm.
this is gospel. Like
It's
everything
so
in this
scary.
novel makes so much sense to me. And at the time, it might have been a little bit of a stretch, but today in the US, I'm
Today.
like, come on.
Yeah.
I tried to
No,
start rereading it like last week and I was like, this
no.
no, it's too real right now. Like I can't do
Mhm.
this. I'm too
Mhm.
stressed out.
You know what's really cute? I reread it during Du's
Mm.
presidency, and I was so horrified, and I thought it was the end of the world. And now I'm like, oh my God, that was quaint. Like I
I
thought
Yeah.
that was the witch was
know.
bad. Like no.
Everybody misses him now,
I
which is
know.
so
But at the
It's
time,
true.
I reread 1984 when he came to power, and I just was so depressed, and it's all relative, I guess. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so that's how I ended up interested in storytelling. And when I was in high school, I was producing a lot of videos just for fun with a dear friend of mine, and it was a thing. So then I worked in video production for a couple of years, but then I went to grad school again for public opinion. And so I went and I found this one guy that was an expert on political public opinion. And what I did research on, I used the example of at the time, it was right before the beginning of the second war in Iraq. And I wanted to do some research about public opinion on that. But what I was really investigating was like, how do people come to think what they think, right? Because the example that I always use is like, for instance, a straight couple that lives together in the US in 2026 is so not a thing. Like
Right.
nobody could give a shit, right? It's like
Right.
totally normal. But there was a time not that long ago when that was like a humongous scandal, right?
Yeah.
It
Yep.
was and so I'm like, okay, so how did we get from there to here? Because that change
Mm,
happened, right?
yeah.
You
And I
mean like
think
an
that
unmarried couple?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Mhm.
Like the
Mhm.
scandal was that they wouldn't be married,
Right.
right?
Right.
And like now nobody cares. But at one point it was really important. And I think that this subject that I've always been super interested in is becoming really, really popular these days because we're all wondering how the hell is our current reality the current reality? Like, how is this
Yeah.
becoming normalized? And so many of us are spending our time speaking out, being really loud about, like,
Mhm.
no, do not get confused. The emperor is in fact naked. He's
Yes.
got no clothes on. The shit ain't normal.
Yes.
What the hell, right? Anyway, so my research was basically on like how public opinion is formed and how does it change. And so it was based on this theory by my advisor's advisor called the spiral of silence, which, like
Mm.
anything, back to, you know, how your skill is your skill and you don't even know it. When I'm going to tell you this, you're going to be like, that is so obvious. But before Elizabeth Noel Neumann, nobody had ever articulated this. And it's the
Mm.
following. When there is a controversial topic, say immigration or abortion or
Mhm.
drug use or whatever, people will be less likely to speak out about it if they think they're in the minority out of fear of social isolation, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But it wasn't obvious until she said it, right? Everybody kind of thought it, but right. And she investigated and found data, and this is exactly how humans operate. And so basically, what happens is that if you think, and it's only with controversial topics, right? If it's like, do you like chocolate or vanilla? Nobody cares. But if you're
Mhm.
like, are you pro-life or like whatever? If you're in particular geographic places, people care, or it's
Yeah.
contextual, right? But in general, what's considered controversial where you're at. So if you think you're in the minority, you're less likely to stand your ground to talk about it because you're worried that people will
Mhm.
shun you. Okay, so what happens? What happens is that the less you talk about it, the less visible this issue becomes. The
Mhm.
less visible it is, the more people think that that's a
Mhm.
minority. Hence the spiral of silence, right? Because
Yeah.
it spirals into like now it's something totally taboo. But again, at one point, unmarried straight couples were a scandal and now they're not. So how did that happen? Well,
Yeah.
that happens because there's always a few people that ironically in the 90s in the research were called influentials, very different from influencers today, but a lot of parallels, that were willing to speak their minds. There was an avant-garde of people that are like, I don't care if I'm in the minority, I just got to tell you this. And that's usually because of personality traits and just who they are or whatever. But basically, I was studying that whole thing. Hence the joke. I got the master's degree in spellcasting because it's literally about at the social group level, how do we turn the tide when we see that the king is naked and we think
Yeah.
it's a disgusting sight? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what I ended up doing in the US. And then after that, I worked in communications for progressive nonprofits, the environmental issues, human rights, healthcare, women's rights, reproductive justice, racial justice, economic equity, things like that
Queen.
for about, I don't know, a couple of decades then. And I loved that. And it was amazing. And it was a great experience. And I don't regret any of it. And then I moved to Australia in 2011, a long time ago, in 2011. And I was there for like 5 or 6 years. And I was working with environmental organizations there. And then my last job was as the global campaign leader for the Oceans Campaign at Greenpeace International.
Mm.
Wow.
And I left there in 2016 when there was a really bad outcome of an election in the US, and I
Wow.
decided to go back here to do some work here. So, two things happened there that were super interesting. One is that I ended up starting my own consulting company, which I wanted to do always. I thought I was going to do communications because that's what I've been doing my whole career. But what I didn't understand is that there's another field called organizational development that I was doing like off the side of my desk without knowing that I was doing it. Because basically, when I was trying to do my communications work, there was like the fundraising team is not agreeing with the campaigns team and they don't know about the comms team. And then like they think the executive director is a jerk. And then the assistant is crying. And for whatever reason, I was always the one like cleaning up those messes and helping people like collaborate.
A
And then
gift.
a gift, 100. And I ended up restructuring 3 different organizations throughout my career. Absolutely inappropriate, completely not my job. Nobody asked me to do that, but like I had to because I wanted to get my job done. And if these people are crying and not talking to each other, I can't get my work done.
Yeah.
And then a couple of really generous colleagues were like, Maritza, this thing that you do like on the side, it's like a whole thing. You should do that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a comms person. I don't know. Anyway, so I came back to the US in 2017. For whatever reason, people didn't want to hire me to do communications. And they kept saying, do you do facilitation? Do you coach? Do you do restructure? Can you do like organizational culture work? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I need to eat. And so, sure, because I'm kind of great at it, if I may say so myself. And so I've been doing that ever since. So that's like my one business.
Wow.
But then, so basically, I help leaders and staff I work with a lot of foundations and a lot of nonprofits, like figure out their internal strategies and get along and be productive. And particularly in this day and age, it's a little bit harder than usual. But then
Mhm.
I also started Bruja School, which is basically where I teach people spiritual practices and tools and how to work magic and how to do spell casting. And
That's
so that's
amazing.
relevant to what you were saying earlier in terms of like as recently as like 8 or 9 years ago, you were like, "Ooh, I don't know that I wanna say I'm a witch," and that kind of
Right.
thing. I went through such a struggle because I'm like, I do not need the CEO of this think tank to know that I'm doing tarot card readings. Like,
Right.
I don't think he's gonna think that's a good look. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so for a long time, I had a really hard time sort of like owning both sides of my business
Mhm.
and even telling people about Bruja School because I'm like,
Mhm.
it was very uncomfortable because I'm trying to like market it, right? I
Right.
want people to know about this. I'm like, shit's going down, y'all. If you don't have solid spiritual practices, I don't know how you're gonna do it. And I want to tell you about it. And it took me years to first of all, it took me years to get comfortable charging for it and developing
Mhm.
it as a business because then I remembered back in the day, y'all would bring me like a dozen eggs and a goat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why now that we use dollars, why is it all of a sudden you expect me to do this for free?
Weird.
That's absurd.
Right.
That's so disrespectful. So I finally got over that. But like I say
It's
it
all
so
part
much
of the patriarchal design though too, like, that we shouldn't
100%.
be charging for our healing services or our witchy services.
I found something out yesterday. It is illegal to
Oh, yeah.
charge for tarot readings in like 5 states in
Mhm.
America. It's like North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and a couple other things. Yeah, I had no
Mhm.
idea.
Still
Sorry,
in
side.
20.
Z Budapest is a woman who fought and won that in California in the 70s, and it
Mhm.
took her 9 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The woman who
9
you
years.
shared in our
Yeah.
stories, she's been fighting for several years too, I believe, because I've been following her journey
That's so
in
crazy. I didn't even
Pennsylvania.
know
She's
that.
a metaphysical store owner and does readings, and so she's gone through all the legal processes and everything to fight that. It's just so crazy that in our day and age, that's still a thing.
It's absurd. Well,
Yeah.
and the irony is that at the same time that you ridicule it and minimize it and say it's bullshit, well, I guess you don't think so because otherwise, what do you care, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Good point.
It's so
Well,
annoying.
doesn't the
So annoying.
government, like, have astrologers and witches, like, helping to, you know, tell them when to do certain things?
Oh, I have
I
no
mean,
idea, but I won't be surprised.
it could be a
It's
conspiracy.
I mean, there's just the quote that's like, millionaires don't believe in astrology, but billionaires do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What?
It was like JP Morgan or somebody that said that.
I
Oh
believe
my
that.
Yeah.
God. I had no idea. But I'm like, AOC, Mam Dami, I'll be happy to give you a reading.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
We will be on your team.
I should just pitch myself, come to think of it. Oh my God, it would be such an
Yeah, you're
honor.
Don't forget
manifesting
about
it
us.
right now.
I know, right? So
You know,
funny. Yeah, I don't
I don't
know. I
wanna
don't know.
lose this thought. I just think, like, I teared up when you said that you came back in 2016,
Yeah.
like, because of the presidential election, and to think that like part of your desire to leave Chile was because of the dictatorship and what was going on in that country, and that you've evolved and you're like, I have shit to say, and maybe it wasn't even like a fully aware conscious decision, but it's like you are such an advocate and someone with this power and desire to help the collective and help tell people that the emperor in fact is naked
Or a Nazi.
and that you were gone, and then you were like, it's time to get back. Like it's almost like this warrior energy where you're like,
Mhm.
I'm showing up. Like it's
I have a
the
job to do.
goddess is fucking running through you. And it just made me cry, like, whoa, because there's so many people in this last year, especially where it's like, fuck, we're doing this again. I cannot believe that
And I
like
gotta get out.
this is happening again. And yeah, and like where the fuck can we go? Like where's, looking for their ancestry so that they can get an EU, what's it called? Oh my God.
Visa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, like everyone's like, get me the fuck out of here because I cannot watch this go down. And like I certainly had that thought last year at many points. Even my husband still is like, let's go, let's go. And like there's something in me that's like,
We have to
I'm
fight.
supposed to
Yeah.
be here. Like, and not just here, but like where we live, even like that it's
Yeah.
so important to be a part of that, as scary as it is. And like you don't know, you don't fucking know. Like nobody's really actually safe or immune to the devastating possibilities of what's going on. Like we saw that last week. And like even this morning, my husband's like, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, but I really think I'm supposed to be here. Like, I know it sounds crazy, and especially doing what I'm doing, like, we need to be that voice right now more than ever. And we will be a part of that change that happens because it's inevitable. It's going to be painful before we get there. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be devastating, but it's gonna fucking happen. Like we are on that trajectory right now. There's so many people, thankfully, and he's naked. And eventually people are gonna be like, oh, he's been naked this whole time.
Okay. A couple of thoughts on this. Yes. And first of all, the rise of fascism is global, y'all. So if you
Yeah.
think you find a safe place, good luck with that.
No, for real,
Mhm.
for real.
Ugh, chill.
A.
It's big.
B. When or if when the US goes down in flames, it's bringing the entire freaking planet along with it
whole
because we're
planet.
all interconnected. And
Yes.
so again, this idea of like a safe place is a little bit of a fantasy.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, I have a lot of friends, more acquaintances really, who have either left or have thinking about leaving, either because of the current politics or some of them because like, it's cheaper to live elsewhere and they can work remotely. And I'm like, can we just stop it with the freaking neo-colonial bullshit?
Well, you're
Right.
you're
Like, oh,
fucking up other people's homes
Yeah.
when you're doing that.
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, well, I have opinions about that. And again, here's the paradox. Having said all that, you do what you need to do because you're the only
Yeah.
one
Right.
that needs to live with your decisions. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
So there's that. So yeah, of course, it's terrifying right now. It couldn't be a shittier environment. But I'll tell you what, though, the last time I ended up with 3 passports in this lifetime because life is funny AF. And so I'm like, we could go to Australia or we could go to Chile or even somewhere else. And then I was thinking like, okay, the last time I thought it through truly was like in September of last year, right? Because I'm like, I
Mhm.
think you get one dictatorship per lifetime. Like you do not need to do this twice.
I know. I want to see your soul contract. I just keep thinking about that. Like, what
Thank
the fuck?
you. Thank you. Totally. And so I was talking about it with my partner and we ended up like tabling it until like this is not a thing we're pondering right now. But I was at the time, and this was in like September, right? And I was thinking, okay, so basically if oh my God, lost my train of thought. Was like, oh, okay, I remember. I was like leaving the country. It's like if you end up this was the calculation. Say people are like, okay, the US is a shit show. We don't need to re-explain that. Imagine like, they come in, whomever they might be, and they kill a bunch of people. Or in this case, just one person. Do you think the next day there's 3 times as many people on the street or nobody on the street? And I had this conversation with a ton of people. And our guess was nobody on the street because we don't trust Americans as a people, right?
Ugh.
And so I was like, I don't think anybody would stand up for anybody because this place kind of sucks. And so that's why I think we would be safer elsewhere. And then Minneapolis proved me fucking
Yeah.
wrong, which I was praying for because I did not
Yes.
believe any
Yeah.
city in this country really had it in them. And that's like a super fucking stupid thing to say because history shows people in the US, all over the US, have been warriors and freaking upright humans and defending each other and totally committed to civil rights. And all my freaking judgment was out of fear,
Yeah.
which is reasonable because it is scary. But back to the whole, how does public opinion change and how do we change
Yeah.
reality? It's like you're going to be in it no matter what, because here you
Mhm.
are incarnated. Do
Mhm.
you want to help co create it into what you want, or do you want to be
Yes.
victimized in the corner? Like,
Yes.
I don't see other options. You
There's
know
no
what I
other
mean? And so I think
options.
this is where like my magic and my spiritual path are one with my politics. It's super ingrained because I cannot tease them out.
Nope.
And I think that anybody that wants to grow their courage and have deep transformative experience needs to help us figure this shit out in the US in 2026.
Yes.
Mhm. Let's
And also
go.
because we need everybody, y'all. We can use all the skills and all the experience and all
Exactly.
the human power we can get. Like we can't
Yes.
do it individually. So please don't go and help out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Like I really believe we're always guided, we're always directed to exactly where we're supposed to be in the moment, and the fact that like I built this business however many years ago and I'm doing what I'm doing and the community is coming together like literally catty corner from where most people are protesting like in our city. Like I could not have been put in a different location. It's so fucking crazy to witness to be like, "Oh, I'm literally across the street. Pause store, we're going to go fucking get out in the streets and we're going to clap our hands with everybody else." And to hear the honking and the cheering and to watch people of all generations walking down the street with their signs, it's so inspiring and literally I cry every time I see it. It gives me such hope. It is seeing Minneapolis right now on our socials. It's like people are showing up. We are here to fight. We are not going to let this go down without a fight. Like we are in our own civil war right now. It is happening, whether people want to believe it or not.
I'm curious, as like an immigrant yourself,
Yeah.
are you feeling fearful a lot of the times as well? Like being like, do you have a fear of deportation or anything that's going on?
I'm just so fucking annoyed.
Yeah,
I'm so
same.
fucking annoyed. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Okay, first of all, the fascists always, 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 always lose.
Mhm.
And all the fuckery that we have to fucking put up with in the process is extremely annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to put it mildly like that. I am not worried for my personal safety
Okay.
today and horrified by everything that's going on. I mean, like, look, it's really overwhelming because when I was
Yeah.
growing up in Chile, I was too little to be useful in many ways. But
Mhm.
now I'm a grown ass woman, bordering on old. I don't want to say old yet, but bordering on old. And I'm like, and I have all this experience and all these resources and all these, things that I can do. And so, like, I've been doing what I can. Like, there's a really deep dear colleague of mine, and we put together a training that's literally called "How to Fight Fascists," and
Hell
like,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck yeah.
we've been using that for folks. And then like I'm in all of like these mutual aid groups, and like I did this lady's laundry the other day. Like, how absurd is that? Like, the
No,
woman
so
is
needed.
monolingual in an indigenous language. Her daughter speaks Spanish. Her husband is in detention. He was abducted
Mm,
by ICE. Blah blah blah. I mean, like the mess
mhm.
continues. And like in our little group, somebody was like, "Hey, and of course they don't have a car. Can anybody do their laundry?" And I'm like, I'm a fucking homeowner and I have a washer and a
Yes.
dryer. First of all, holy shit, I'm a homeowner. That's incredible. Like I
Right.
don't take that for granted. And I have
Right.
a washer and a dryer at home. I'll do your fucking laundry. Of course I'll do
Fuck
your laundry.
yeah.
That's the least
Yeah.
I can do. And so I
Yes.
think that I try to think about from the super macro, like helping people understand like the big picture of what's actually going on and
Mhm.
what they can do about it, to the actually doing about it, which can look as quote unpolitical as doing a load of laundry,
Right.
but it's transformative, and that's what
Yeah,
people
wow.
actually need, right? And
Yep.
so I think that no matter where your comfort level is in terms of involvement with like stopping this bullshit, there's a role for you. And the invitation is always and try to grow a bigger pair and do something more tomorrow because that's what it's
Yeah.
going to take. You know
Yeah.
what I
Oh, I love that.
I'm afraid. Yeah, I guess so. I'm afraid, but I'm just angrier. But they're
Yeah,
all the same thing. Like I'm
for
definitely
sure.
a no go on this BS. It's really concerning. Like the mental health of the American people is like one of my biggest concerns because like there's this
Right.
dude that's doing stupid shit and acting like a toddler, sure, but we all got us here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did this happen? And I mean, there's a political analysis, there's an economic analysis, there's like a race, and there's like all kinds of ways of thinking about it. But at the end of the day, we're not well, y'all. We're not
Yeah.
well. I mean, because the
It's
evidence
changing
is in
us.
front of our eyes. It's like we're
Mhm.
just not well. And so
Mhm.
we need to get well at a deeper level, which is why I'm now so comfortable being open about the spiritual work that I do.
Yeah.
And I tell people about Bruja School, even though they might not want to hire me for their institutional work,
Mhm.
because it's important to make it available as much as possible and to not hide. And I've
Mhm.
had some really interesting experiences where it's like the most unlikely people have been like, wow, you do what? Do say more. Like it's very
Right.
compelling to people, you know? So
Definitely.
anyway,
Yeah. And you never know who's like in their own closet
Yeah.
still, in their own broom closet,
totally.
looking for
Totally.
somebody to guide them or help them or remind them of what does already exist within them. Like, I'm always surprised by the people I get to meet and be like, "Oh, yeah," because witches don't look like what we've been taught. They're not green face with moles all over their face necessarily. They're not always wearing black. They're not, always conjuring up potions over a giant cauldron, with their witch hats. Like witches, we all look the same. And I think that's a beautiful sentiment for anything that we're trying to put a label on or stereotype people in any sort of way. Like you just never know. And it's so needed to help people heal in all these different ways and find their power, reignite their power, and help them see their place in the revolution.
Totally. Totally. I think it's funny. I don't know what people expect, of witches.
Right.
They have some picture in their head, but they're not even really clear on what because people are like, but you're so smart. I'm like, why do you think witches were dumb? You're
Yeah,
so pretty. And I'm
what?
like, thank you. But what the fuck are you talking? Like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. And I think, I mean, I'm super judgy myself. That's something that I work on all the time.
It's
To just
human
Mhm.
like,
nature.
sure, but for some of us more than others.
Right.
And I try to help it as much as possible, but at least having the awareness of it. And so I understand that people like project and assume and whatever, but it just cracks me up always. It's like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, well, what did you think it was gonna be like? And people
Yeah.
are and then usually the answer is like, I don't know. I don't
Yep.
know, but not
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
and
whatever.
that's more to the point of, like, we need to stop hiding because, like, it's normalizing. It's as normal as someone saying, "I'm Christian," and not all Christians are what we all have been made to believe, that
Correct.
they are. It's like we
Yeah.
all exist.
No, it's been a beautiful conversation. I think that, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people listening to this are living in the United States. And if you are like minded, you're probably having a really, really hard time. And
Mhm.
I hope you just know that you're not alone. And that does matter because one person alone is very vulnerable and potentially in danger, and they might even be like insane. But with two, you're a minority already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that minority can grow, and then we can build power that way. So just think that I'll leave you with that. Bruja School. I am the proud owner of brujaschool.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can just visit my website and you'll find my links to my LinkedIn. And did I say LinkedIn? Don't go there because I don't post there. I meant to say Instagram. Oh my God. I need to
Instagram.
wash my brain. Anyway, Instagram and YouTube and all the things. And you can sign up for Liberation Letters, which is magical tips and wisdom on the weekly. I have a couple of free gifts as well. One is about how to make a sigil. One is about the art of fierce grace, which is really how to have difficult conversations. And basically, Bruja School, I offer tarot readings. There's a lot of articles about magic and spirituality and politics and just life. And I have a program called Liberation Magic, which is 13 weeks long, where I teach the Liberation Magic method, which is basically, you know how at the beginning I was telling you, it's not like my grandma was like, this is an aspirin, this is what it does, because it's not how it went. Well, I've done that so that people can access it from like a more linear perspective, so their brains can be happier and that can open their minds in receiving the wisdom and develop their own spiritual practices. So anyway, that's the
Amazing.
Liberation Magic method. It's basically everything I know about spiritual practices and how to spell, cast, and work magic. And I run it a few times a year, and the next one is in March. And
Amazing.
yeah, that's it.
Ugh.
I'm ready for the 2 questions.
Okay.
I just want to take a moment and just say thank you so
Yeah,
fucking
this was
much. Like,
amazing.
this has been such a great conversation and such a great connection, and like I feel big of what we've been calling in. So thank you so much for finding us and reaching out to us, and I'm
Yeah.
stoked. I can't wait to
Same.
go be a part of Brewhouse School with you in all the
Thank
ways.
you.
So, our first question is, what is one thing that you do for self-care that you just can't live without?
Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Same. And then if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
How young?
It could be as young
Yeah.
as you could remember all the way up to yesterday.
It always works out. Just remember, it always works out.
We would be super honored if you would pull a card for all of us.
How exciting!
So exciting.
Okay, let's see. All right, just one moment. We're gonna shuffle for this particular collective in this particular moment. Okay, do I tell you the card or do I just read it?
Both.
I would tell
Yeah.
us the card and then, yeah, give us a reading.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I think
Great.
first. I think that oftentimes we can feel powerless, and truth be told, because when we look around the environment, most signs reaffirm this feeling of powerlessness and victimhood. And it also looks kind of depressing and gray because it is. And so I don't think that real transformation is about, quote, thinking positive or keeping a
Mhm.
good attitude. I think that's kind of bullshit because,
Mhm.
well, that's a longer story. But the short of it is that it's really important to see reality for what it is and take it in and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And from that place, we're able to transform it. When that happens, we're really able to take action, to move, and to understand that a lot of what was holding us back was our fear that we were being held back. And
Ugh.
when we decide that we can't take it anymore, we can wiggle ourselves out of bondage and into freedom a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because it
pulled.
works out. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, okay, so what's going on with this card? So the Eight of Swords is not like, it doesn't look like things are going great because
Mhm.
they're not. But most of us also know that the bondage around this person is barely holding up. Like it's not
Yeah.
super tight. Like this woman just needs to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle and walk away, which gives me a lot of hope. I really hope it's that easy for us as a collective. Just make decision and wiggle and move on. But we need to make the decision, even though we're feeling completely trapped at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's spot on. I don't know why, but it makes me think of you like grabbing the chair to climb over the wall at school too, to like get creative. Like you may not think that you have the strength or ability, but like we have resources around us that we can escape what's like trapping us.
Totally. Thanks for making sure we ended on a happy note, because I'm like, ooh, where do we go from this card? But it's true. I mean, to me, the whole point of the Eight of Swords is like, yes, it freaking blows. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't.
Right.
And it doesn't have to for much longer if
Right.
you choose to start taking some action.
Yeah. And the more of us that do, the faster it gets done. It's, we're all the little ants like working together, supporting one
please.
another.
Totally.
Let's fucking go.
We need to make like a group spell time when we get like thousands of witches together to all fucking hex the patriarchy.
I have one on the schedule at Moonbees.
Okay. Is
It's
it
happening. It's for our community.
okay?
It's happening.
We need to
next
put it
week.
on the internet.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Okay,
We're
well,
doing
this is
it.
so amazing. We're so grateful to make this connection with you
Yes.
and grateful for you spending your time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. That was totally self-indulgent. I just talked about
We
the
loved it.
action for an hour and a half, and
That's what we do here.
love.
so happy.
I love it.
Well, and it's again, like you're saying, like, so we don't feel alone in our experiences in our community and like what's happening. Like that is the purpose of this podcast, is so that you can feel seen as the person sharing your life story, but you help others be seen by what you share too.
Yeah.
That is what this is. This is a collective project,
Yeah.
even though it's just the three of us sitting here right now. Fuck
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Maritza.
so
We
much.
are so grateful.
This episode has been produced by my husband, Curtis Burgess.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Waking Up the Witch.
And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at wakingupthewitch@gmail.com.
And don't forget to head over to the link in our bio on Instagram for all the ways to connect with both Amber and Taylor. And go to moonbeeswellness.com for all your self-care and witchy news. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Ow.